Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Ross Johnston. In Titans news, the team has placed cornerback L'Jarius Sneed on injured reserve with a quad injury. Sneed will have to miss a minimum of 4 games and then will be able to return from IR if the Titans choose to do so. In NBA news this morning, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Trailblazers guard Terry Rozier were arrested as part of an NBA gambling operation. More details are continuing to come out, but the Trailblazers will be without Billups and Rozier for quite some time, potentially permanently. Lastly, in NFL news, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson practiced for a second straight day today as a limited participant as he attempts to return from his hamstring injury. And also, the Minnesota Vikings are activating running back Aaron Jones off of injured reserve, and he is expected to play tonight versus the Chargers. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And we're going to go straight to the phones. We got a guest right off the top of the show. We got Ryan Shumpert of Rocky Top Insider. Ryan, I guess let's do this. Tony, go ahead.
No. You got to start with this as, jokes aside. We just having a little fun.
Yeah.
How much did you put on that Tony was going to leave or stay there in Tennessee? For gambling.
I was actually thinking about that a couple of days ago. I was like, is sports gambling on something like this considered insider trading? Would it have been illegal for me to do that? But no, I would have still been taking a risk. I didn't know anything for sure. But I was thinking back, I think on the secondary market or whatnot, the overseas markets, Tony was like the 10th or maybe the 12th best odds to be the Giants coach when it opened. So certainly there was good value on him.
All right, so let me ask you this. The news pops up on the third Saturday in October that Tony Vitello may be leaving for the New York Giants. They're closing in on a deal. University, Tennessee lost to Alabama. Is that the worst third Saturday in October for Knoxville?
You're just trying to kick him right down. That was bad.
I mean, it has to be, does it not? I can't think of, and there's probably been one at some point, but in my lifetime, just a football loss in that game that was so crushing that it would overcome, both losing the game and losing your, national championship winning or looking like you're going to lose your national championship winning baseball coach. So, yeah, it was a bad day. He's been, he owes Tony Vitello like a thank you basket because very few people have talked about, or at least it's taken a lot of attention away from a very poorly played game from the Vols on Saturday with all the Vitello saga this week.
So what's your initial reaction to Tony taking that job, and what is the current reaction from the fan base over in Knoxville regarding Danny White? Because I've heard a lot of people say they want Danny White gone, like this is a him issue, when really isn't it just Tony Vitello taking a great opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. I think a couple things can be true here. I don't think Tony Vitello and Danny White had the best relationship. I don't think they were best friends or super close, and they certainly had disagreements on stuff over the years. But yes, I think this is much more about Tony Vitello taking what is objectively a better job to be the manager for the San Francisco Giants. There's 30 MLB jobs. That's probably a top 10 one. And baseball's Tony Vitello's life. He's not married. He doesn't have kids or anything like that. He is the definition of a baseball lifer, and I think, really, no matter the circumstances, this is going to be a very, very difficult job for him to turn down.
What's next steps for Tennessee baseball?
Well, Danny White has said yesterday they're going to do a nationwide search. He did say that associate head coach Josh Elander would be a candidate in said search, but to me, they got to move quickly. It's already super weird with the timing here of Tennessee making a move or having to make a move here in October fall practice is going on at Tennessee in a lot of places. Some places it's already over. So I'm not sure how many people are going to be too inclined to leave their current spot at this time in the year. Obviously, I think Tennessee's a good job. I think Tennessee has the financials to attract a top candidate, but we'll see. I think signing day in less than 3 weeks, Tennessee needs to move quickly on this hire.
We're talking to Rocky Top insider Ryan Shumpert, all things Tennessee sports.
So you're not going to give us any tea leaves of the options, and why did they make the interim? I mean, is it going to be the permanent? I mean, kind of how do you view that when that happened?
Well, I thought it was interesting to start with that Josh Elander, who has been the associate head coach, he is the in-house candidate. You've seen former players really rally around him, push him for that job in the last days, both in 26 and 27. Elander has done a lot of the heavy lifting on that. I think those recruiting classes will largely stay together if they hire him. But at the same time, this is an attractive job, and I think Danny White wants to see what the other options he has will be.
Do you think would be an opportunity for some of the coaches to go with Tony? Nobody's kind of discussed that. I mean, they're just assuming they will all stay, but you just never know.
I think it's to that point. We don't really know yet. I definitely think there is a possibility. Strength and conditioning coach Quentin Eberhard is extremely close with Tony Vitello, so I would think that Tony would give him that opportunity to come with him to San Francisco. I don't know if he would take it. He briefly served in that role with the Cubs in 2022, but didn't really like the MLB lifestyle and ended up coming back to Tennessee just about 6 months later. So that's, I think, the most obvious one you would point to of maybe he would follow Tony to San Francisco, but other guys could have that opportunity too, and I certainly think it's a possibility for a handful of people on the staff.
Outside of a pay raise for Tony there, if he stayed there at Tennessee, what other things do you think he would have wanted, or was there anything he would have wanted that maybe he would have stayed? I mean, a lot of people are saying him and, A.D. White didn't have a really good relationship because of certain things that he didn't get, and maybe some other sports program at the university got. Kind of what's your perspective on that, or do you have a little insight on that?
Yeah, I think the narrative out there that like Danny White took money from Tennessee baseball as NIL and rev share and gave it to the women's basketball program is not accurate. Now, do I think that Tony Vitello wanted more rev share money and more NIL support directed towards the baseball program? Yes. But what coach doesn't? What successful coach is not going to be fighting in this era to get more financial support for his program? So I think there is some truth in that. I do think it has been largely militarized, especially with the stuff surrounding, the money going to the Lady Vols instead. I don't think that was an either-or situation. So could some of that help? Like, sure. But I think this was just more, again, about the opportunity that was one that was really unprecedented. No sitting college coaches with no MLB experience has gone straight to an MLB manager position. And for someone like Vitello, I just think he couldn't turn that down.
Well, with Ryan Shumpert, Rocky Top insider, I guess I now have to start with a little bit of football since it's kind of been a backdrop here, and, looking at the Bama game, what would you say is the reason they lost? More to the blame to the players, or maybe some critical calls that were made?
Yeah, they certainly, some critical calls did not help out. I think you point to the end of the first half scenario, which is where the game really got away from Tennessee with the pick six on the last play of the half, and decide and say, well, this was some hindsight. Man, that was foresight. We were sitting there in the press box like, Tennessee has to pass the ball here. Why did they think they're going to be able to fool anybody by going play action and taking a shot? And clearly Alabama was not fooled. I mean, they had defensive linemen dropping into coverage on the play. So that was really bad. I think some of the stuff late in the game that probably didn't affect the game from a clock management and game management situation was bad from Heupel too. But look, I think the other thing to the game itself I would point to, I thought Tennessee could and would maybe have the pass rush advantage on both sides. The Tennessee pass rush would be able to give Ty Simpson a lot of issues, and then Alabama pass rush that really has largely been quiet for much of the season was not going to be able to get to Joey Aguilar. And really both those things were opposites. Aguilar was pressured more than he'd been all season, and then Tennessee's pass rush was not overly disruptive of Ty Simpson. So I think when you're talking about non-coaching decisions, things that happened on the field. That was a big swing in that game for why Alabama was able to win so comfortably.
And lastly, the new opponent there, Kentucky, could this be a game they could kind of look past? I don't want to, because they've been in a lot of games. They just come up short. I mean, you think they're better than people want to give them credit for, and this may be a challenge if you kind of look past them?
I think so. Look, somebody, Justin Rowland, who works for the On3 site in Kentucky, did a piece with us this week, and he said it, I thought, pretty well, where he said it is probably fair to say Kentucky's the worst team in the SEC, but this is better than the worst team in the SEC typically is, and that just goes to what we've said throughout the season, that the margins are much smaller between the conference this year, and Kentucky's been competitive in both their SEC home games. They played Ole Miss tight, they played Texas tight a week ago, so Tennessee go out and win convincingly and win in a blowout? Sure, but they're going to have to go out and play clean football, complimentary football, and those are things that Tennessee has struggled to do this year, particularly on the road.
So you giving us a prediction then, huh?
Well, I think Tennessee will win, but I think it'll be a game that's competitive in the fourth quarter. You know, for Tennessee to win in a blowout, they're going to have to play clean football, and they haven't really shown that. So I think it'll be a competitive game in the fourth quarter, but I still trust, or would still predict Tennessee to get the job done.
You know, heading into the season, Tennessee, I think the vibes around Tennessee wasn't that they were really a playoff team. They're maybe an 8-win team. And then the start of the season, everybody started saying, hey, maybe a playoff team. This could be a real team here. And it's including us as well. Then the Alabama loss happens and a couple other close games. What are the vibes and expectations for this team for the rest of the season and maybe for their postseason hopes?
I think you make a really good point. The Georgia game, I think, proved to be a little misleading just because the Georgia defense is not as good as it was expected to be, as it usually is. So I think even in a loss, that really raised the expectation. But look, before the year, what I said was I think the goal for Tennessee, you should be going into Gainesville the second to last week of the season with 2 losses and feeling like if you can win your last 2 games, you can make the playoffs, and that's still right in front of Tennessee. Now, the change there is that Vanderbilt game looks a lot harder than it did before the season. I think Vanderbilt at home for the season we were penciling in as a win, and that's certainly going to be a very, very tough game for Tennessee. So I don't think Tennessee's going to go 10-2 and make the playoffs, but they should be right in that. You know, I'd probably predict them to finish 9-3 just to drop one more game, and certainly it does seem like it's probably going to shake out more to where we thought it might before the season.
And does that feel like it meets or exceeds at least expectation? Because I mean, I guess there's not that big of a difference between 9-3 and 8-4, but I just wonder.
Yeah, I think meets the expectations for sure. I think some of and look, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Some of the in-game coaching mistakes that Heupel has made will open himself up to criticism. But yeah, I think I've said it on here before. To me, one of the big questions for Tennessee entering the year was, could they make some offensive adjustments? Their offense hadn't been very good the last 2 years. And Josh Heupel is this offensive coach, offensive guru. Like, that's the thing that he needed to get fixed. And we'll see. Again, things can fall apart down the stretch. But if they don't, if they stabilize, they go 8-4, especially if they go 9-3, and continue to have offensive success, I would feel like they kind of checked that box. And what we all pointed to was a transition year after after Nico Iamaleava left for the transfer portal. You would feel like Tennessee survived it and is moving forward in 26.
All right, I guess one more before we let you go. Vandy versus Tennessee, the last game of the season. Could this be the play-in game to the playoffs?
Yeah,
you said 9-3,
possible.
but hey, do you think 9-3 will get you in?
No, I don't think 9-3
Right.
would get Tennessee in. But it's a weird thing where I said to somebody this week, I oddly feel better about Tennessee's chances at Florida if they already have 3 losses and they're not playing for their playoff lives. But I feel a lot better about Tennessee's chances against Vanderbilt if they only have 2 losses and they are playing for the playoffs, because you just wonder what the focus would be for Tennessee in that game if they are not playing for a playoff bid and they got eliminated from that the week before. So it's possible. You know, I think it's more likely that Vanderbilt is playing in that game for a chance to go to playoffs in Tennessee, but both teams could certainly be in that spot.
All right, that's Ryan Shumpert of Rocky Top Insider, talking all things Tennessee sports. We really appreciate it, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, no problem. All right, when we come back, We got some gambling. We got players on IR. We got all kinds of stuff going on in the sports world, and we want to hear from you. 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
I need Sneed.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Stores, 615-737-1045. And so L'Jarius Sneed goes to IR, your comeback player of the year.
Oh, yeah, my comeback player. Yeah, yes.
To be fair, he did come back. He just came back to the IR list.
Hey, man, I was laughing when I said that because I was like, man, once a guy starts an injury, and I was the one who said I wouldn't have traded for him because of his injury issues. But when he plays, and he never got to that level where he played at Kansas City for whatever reason, he's just not the same guy. And that is actually amazing, really, especially the way he's built. And when I'm telling you that, I'm talking about just mentally and how he got into the league from Louisiana Tech. I watched this guy even when he was in college. He's a really good player. Played outside, inside, nickel, safety 1 year through his 3 years there at Louisiana Tech. Really good player. Actually was better than I thought he was going to be in the league. And then to see that that knee issue and nobody wanted to trade for him, and that was a red flag when you're a trackster, because that's what you become. You do track workout like you're a sprinter in the off season when you play corner and a lot of man, and he's a dog. He just hasn't rekindled it. Well, it's unfortunate. So we'll see if he comes back after these 4 years. But
technically, if he does come back, that's another comeback for you.
Oh, man. So then we have to do that again. But the whole deal is, did they sign a corner?
They have not signed a corner.
Oh.
In fact, they signed a wide receiver to the practice squad. Lance McCutcheon, I think he's 6'2", plays special teams back in 2022 for the Los Angeles Rams.
How many receivers are you going to have on the practice squad?
Well, I guess they don't care
That's
that Xavier
right?
Restrepo's on there. I mean, that is the fourth wide receiver. And so I guess they're viewing this as Darrell Baker Jr., Roger. So you can't trade Roger McCreary now, right? Or can you?
No, I would. All bets are off. I don't know what they would do. I have no idea how they think or anything because they've done things I would have never done.
Samuel Womack. But but guess what? He's a slot guy. They have like 3 slot guys on this roster.
Yeah. He's been inactive, but he's unfit. Yeah, so he'll dress and he probably may play. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea.
I mean,
especially didn't he play? No, he played for the Colts initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, I'm not thrilled about this cornerback situation.
I mean, I guess to the point, yesterday I joked that, I think about the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. trade at least 5 times a day. I'm definitely up to 6 today because of because of Sneed going on IR. Because again, this is what we talked about when he got traded is like, you can't rely on Sneed to stay healthy right now. He has not proven in a Tennessee Titans uniform to stay healthy. And someone asked earlier, is it the quad that he injured last year? I go, does it really matter at this point because he's on IR? He ain't playing,
Well,
if it's the other quad,
if it's the other one, it tells you maybe there's a possibility he can come back.
Maybe, yeah. So,
Sneed.
I know. So
we need,
and I know that he gets a lot of grief for his play this year, and some of that is on him. Some of that's on miscommunication within the defense. But your team is worse without Sneed. Now your team didn't keep Jarvis Brownlee Jr., so your team is worse exponentially when Sneed gets injured now.
For sure. And that's why I said I would have never done that.
Yeah.
Hey, man. So I don't know. I just really don't understand some of their moves.
It's really very perplexing because, I mean, you look at it, Blaine, and you're just like, this team is kind of even worse than last year, but I view the offense and I'm like, this is a better offense than last year.
Oh, the offense is better than last year.
But overall, this team is worse than last year. And it's crazy to me because wasn't last year at some, I guess, here's the issue. Last year, they didn't start the rebuild. They decided to go big with L'Jarius Sneed. They decided to go big with Calvin Ridley. And they decided not to really do a true rebuild. And now we're in like year 0 of a rebuild right now because they didn't do the rebuild last year. But in a rebuild, my philosophy is let's keep as much as our young, cheap talent that is actually good talent
Yeah, just playing.
and let's trade off the older talent. But they seem to be like, let's trade off basically pieces at positions of depth that we don't have because they're trading away Arden Key. And I'm not saying they have to keep Arden Key, but you don't have Femi Oladejo right now. Yeah. So you're just rolling out there with Jihad Ward, Jalen Harrell, and Draymond Jones and Ali Gay, which means your team is worse than last year. And then they trade away Jarvis Brownlee Jr.
They cut Landry.
They cut Landry, they did cut Landry. I was making sure that he wasn't just a free agent.
And I said, if you didn't want to make that money, ask him to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done because you're too desperate. You didn't have any pass rusher.
And then you didn't do a good job of trying to cover that up with people that have at least multiple sacks. You know, they went with Lorenzo Carter, who had 0 sacks last year as one of their big free agent signings.
No, well, we drafted a guy.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about that. Femi Oladejo. And now they're talking about Roger McCreary being on the trade block and not being in the long-term future of this franchise, which again, I understand you have Marcus Harris, but we don't know what Marcus Harris is. You knew what Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was. You knew what Roger McCreary was.
No. Well, we're making an assumption that they knew.
Well,
that's where we go wrong because then we wouldn't be questioning these moves because there's no rhyme or reason behind all of this.
I would assume.
Don't know. They don't know.
I know. Well,
no.
I guess I'm giving too much credit that maybe Chad Brinker watched Titans games last year. I don't know.
I don't know. Rock, do they know?
No, they don't know.
Their actions telling you what they forget all what we think they should know. Their actions are telling you what they do know. It's all about that action, and that action is not correct.
The action just doesn't make logical sense.
They should have kept Brownlee and traded McCreary. If you in a vacuum and like say, okay, well we're not going to re-sign him, so then we'll move Brownlee back inside to his natural position in the National Football League. That's where he should play, and we've been saying that, and that's who I would have traded if I was going to do anything with any.
But
of
now they may trade both. By the end of the trade deadline, they may have traded both of them, and they're your two best corners. I'll say this: they were your two best dependable corners last year. Roger McCreary has been your most dependable corner for a while now.
He didn't miss any games. I don't recall him missing any game.
But again, it's not like he's lighting the world on fire or anything. But
he does his job well.
If you go and start looking at what the current trend is right now. Nickel corners are getting paid more and more every time because that piece is becoming more and more valuable because of 3 wide receiver sets. And here you are either going to trade or not extend a young player that's proven that he is one of the best nickel corners in the league, one of the best slot guys.
Watch this. You know what's going to happen? Hooker's going to be playing slot. And by the way, I went and looked at his numbers and watched the game. That's how he got beat. He was playing the slot. That's why he got beat deep, and that's why the corner. He was playing actual slot.
You may be onto something here.
Yeah, and maybe,
maybe that's why they extended him because he's going to play the slot. Ooh, man, a transition this in a career like
in
this?
passing situations.
Yeah.
No, he starts as safety, but then in passing situations in certain defenses, he was playing
That's why we probably saw a lot of digs than we have recently.
Yeah, that's why. Because that's why he was. I'm like, why is it dig?
Because didn't we say a couple of weeks ago that's like Roger McCreary sure didn't play a lot this game. It was a couple of weeks ago.
I think that's when they go forward. No, McCreary was out there, but he was the other nickel guy.
Yeah.
In some packages that they have.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that'll change if Winston stays healthy and plays a little bit more.
Maybe.
So
maybe it's a Winston Wood. They think that having the 4 safeties out there or 3 safeties out there is better than having McCreary out there.
I don't know about that.
I'm with you.
I don't know about, I play safety, man. I don't know how much I want to get matched up on Pittman, Pierce, and some.
Well, he's not particularly good in the slot. I just want to say, how many times have we seen Amani Hooker lined up on either a tight end or wide receiver one-on-one and get let up touchdowns in the red zone?
Right.
He's not been very good.
Oh, man, since he's got an extension, he's being horrible.
Yeah.
No, they got him playing something that he's really not the best option.
Yeah.
He's the best option they have, but that's not who should be down there, man.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder if they throw Kevin Winston in the slot some just for the sake of getting him on the field.
No, he's got to be over tight end. No way they cannot. I get what you're saying.
I mean, but if they do that, that's coaching malpractice.
But see, you would think they shouldn't do that, right? But
I know.
I think it's
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't do that. Slot?
Yeah.
No, I want him
But they
over
may.
Warren. I want to put him on Warren. Man, put him on that big old tight end that can run and two big people who can run. Man, they put him on some of these other guys. I don't know, man. Like, I think management's making decisions without considering or having conversation with coaches.
That's what to me it feels like.
Like there's no way they get to be saying this, man. They're every day working with these guys.
I think they know that this coaching staff's not going to be here, and they want to start the transition of roster planning for the next few years because they know the kind of players that they want. We already kind of saw that in the draft, and they want to know what holes lie ahead of them, and they're going to start making moves with not this year in mind, which is technically fine, I guess, because, I mean, we all know that they're not going to make the playoffs. But that also feels like you're sending a weird message to the players in the locker room. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm overthinking it. It just feels like you're sending weird signals to the fan base that this season's pretty much over right now. I mean, we know it is, but you're kind of displaying it on a billboard for everybody to see.
Some of it doesn't make sense, though. I mean, some does, but some of it does not. I completely disagree with some of it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm all about winning. And, so I don't care who drafted, who got where, when, how old is a player, is he still productive, and is he good? All that rest of it, man, they can take that.
You want to trade Arden Key? Fine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't really agree.
I hear you going to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, hey, he's played there once. They need him. I'm not really too upset if Chig gets traded, but I do think Chig is more valuable here than a 6th-round pick this year. I mean, that's the thing. You're trading guys for 6th and 7th-round picks. Those guys don't have high hit rates to being contributors to what you're losing. And I'm not saying you have to extend Chig. But again, you are creating an unnecessary hole for right now because what tight end are you going to sign?
Oh, they got the other guy.
Well, they got David Martin. Are you just going to roll with 2 tight ends the rest of the way? I guess. I mean, like, I don't know. The roster math ain't mathing. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, if you trade away Roger McCreary,
maybe that's
don't
what
extend
they're
him.
selling to Amy. We have so many holes.
Yeah.
No.
Let's create more.
And she should ask them, how many did you create?
Yeah.
But she's not asking that.
Yeah.
She's not asking
Nope.
that.
Let's go to Joe in Goodlettsville. Joe, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Manipulating the
I
owner.
appreciate it, guys. 2 or 3 comments. I heard Brownlee was traded mostly going back to his college days with his attitude and being uncoachable. How true it is, I don't know. As to you, Hitman, I got a question for you. At what point, I know some players play on longer than they need to, chasing that ring. Snead has gotten 2 of them, and he's gotten the payday. At some point, when do you decide, hey, man, it's time to hang it up? And if so, how much would that affect the payroll there on the Titans? Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, well, you want to touch on the Brownlee part of that?
What it was the question? There was a lot of wind.
Attitude.
Culture problems.
Well, have we heard any?
coachable.
See, to me, you're hearing stuff from people who are hearing it from the people who made the trade.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When you hear stuff, because look at it this way.
That's called cover your behind.
Yeah. People get fed stuff from people inside the building, right? And we have to take that stuff into consideration with who is telling who what. And the people that traded Jarvis Brownlee Jr., because I've heard specifically that Denard Wilson wanted Jarvis Brownlee Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So the coach who is in charge of coaching him and spends the most time with him outside of the defensive backs coach and the teammates, who the teammates were also pretty shocked that he got traded.
And so was he.
And was shocked. Yeah. And he was shocked. And I'm just telling you that the people that are making the decision to trade are not on the coaching side. They're on the other side. And I think that's why we kind of alluded to earlier, or just flat out said that they're having discussions and not including the coaching staff in these decisions.
Yeah.
And he seems pretty coachable on the Jets. Haven't heard anything over there yet.
What was wrong with, even though you knew you was going to get some backlash, why couldn't they just say, we traded him because we thought we could get something for him?
Yeah.
And that's it. Why couldn't they just do that?
Yeah, because then they're going to face more backlash, right? Because they're going to say, but you only got a 6th-round pick for a 5th-round pick that was giving you time. And so in their mind, they want to diminish, or I wouldn't say make up, but they want to overinflate maybe attitude problems, quote unquote attitude problems. And they wanted that to be the reason, that to be the narrative, to say that's why we had to get him out of here.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like, to me, then you have people who are very insecure about their jobs and that they want to put out something bad to cover their mistakes.
Yeah.
Then they shouldn't be doing that job. And they are manipulating the owner by doing that. And maybe that's
the media and the fans.
And the media and the fans. And maybe that's really the crux of the whole issue, maybe over these last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
And then she realizes that, we shouldn't have done that, whether it's 3 months later, 4 months later, 5 months later, or a year. And then she axes them because she realized they were lying to her.
Yep.
Imagine that.
It's, to me, it's just very utterly ridiculous that
goes on all the time.
we haven't. It does. It goes all the time, all over the NFL,
Yeah.
all over the NBA, MLB, all in sports. When people make decisions, remember when people get fired, there's always stories that come out about someone's firing and why they got fired. And they have, for whatever reason, people have to diminish the person to justify the firing. Can you not just point at, okay, because I remember last year it was Gerard Mayo, right? The plane was acting all crazy. The people on the plane were all crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
Remember that?
I was like, what?
Can you not just point that he was a losing head coach?
Oh, no. The best one is Red Carthon sleeping on the plane.
Sleeping on the plane, playing Candy Crush. Can you not just point to what they're doing?
Candy Crush?
Yeah. Point to the results, right? Like,
you made that up.
No, that was reported.
I thought it was Jetpack Joyride.
Yeah, that was reported.
I stopped listening when somebody said he was asleep. I said, I better stop this.
Just point at the results, right? Hey, we fired him because we sucked.
There you go. There you go.
Now, that wouldn't work for Jarvis Brownlee Jr. necessarily, but that is the larger part of the problem here in the NFL specifically, is that nobody just wants to say, well, they sucked. There always has to be stories that leak out and that diminish the character, whether true or not. Right. Well, we're not there to know.
Well, this is my whole issue when they do the combine. And then somebody goes and reports and writes something, and I go, wait a minute, though. Who did you hear it from? Because they may have wanted him to fall so they could draft him.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of that?
Right.
That they made this story up so he would fall to them. This is a game.
Yeah.
And, you just threw it out there like it was just reality. Like, this guy's a horrible, personality. He's tough to coach, attitude problem. Not near coach at Louisville said anything about Brownlee about that.
Nope.
And he played with some damn dog to him. We don't have much of that.
And that's why I wouldn't. Because with this generation of elite level athletes, it's hard to find some old dogs. That old dog that barks every time he out there. Whether you like it or not, he barks.
Yeah.
And he barks loud. And he plays aggressive nature. And it becomes contagious. And everybody starts following it.
He's scrapping the run game too. Like it showed in his play.
Man,
so Woody had one game with penalties. So what?
Yeah, that killed. But if that was the case, boy, I would have been out the league my rookie year too. Boy, I got 3 penalties on one
here's
drive.
my thing.
We wouldn't have an O-line right now if that was the case.
Man,
we spent a little bit of time talking about building blocks yesterday, but over the summer and after that season, everybody in media and all the fans said Jarvis Brownlee Jr. building block. You got a corner. Whether he's outside, inside, you got a corner locked up for the next 4 years. And that's what we all said. Nobody said that trade Jarvis Brownlee Jr., cut Jarvis Brownlee Jr., he shouldn't start. That guy's a starter. And then he gets traded, and we hear these rumors pop up about he's a malcontent or whatever.
Dang.
And now everybody's like, well, I'm glad he's gone. Or not everybody. Some people are like, he needed to go. He needed to be traded. I'm sorry. We just flip-flop because one person said something to someone else in a game of telephone? No way. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. still needs to be on this team, and every day and every game, they look stupider and stupider for doing it.
You think one of the players or the players wouldn't have backed him up? Like if he was actually a locker room problem, they might not have said it, but we would have been able to tell when they were asked about it that week.
You could have read between the lines.
Exactly.
No doubt.
You can tell when it's just a little PR answer. That story was 100% BS.
Yeah, that was blasphemy. Yeah, to me, you shouldn't be able to just diminish people's character like that. You work hard to build up your character, and then somebody tries to just throw it in the trash.
And that's a great way to give him more trade value too.
Yep. All right. When we come back, we'll go to the phones. We'll go to Kel. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, parents of high school athletes, is your star player sidelined by a torn ligament, muscle strain, or post-surgery recovery? Getting back in the game shouldn't mean needles, endless meds, or long waits. Introducing the Athletic Recovery Program from Edge Peptide Therapy, a game-changing 2-month oral peptide protocol designed just for teen athletes. Using advanced blends, 2 powerhouse peptides, BPC 157 and TB 500, straight from the human gut. Yes, that's where it comes from. Supports tendon healing, boosts vascular growth, and protects your nervous system. And TB 500 reduces inflammation, aids muscle regeneration, and restores blood flow, all to speed up recovery and promote cellular repair. Needle-free, hassle-free, and backed by science. No injections, no clinic visits, just faster healing so your kid can get back into the field sooner. We've transformed adult wellness for years now, and we're bringing it Edge to the next generation. Families, you provide trust with Edge Peptide because it's smart, modern, and effective. Both peptides are widely studied for regenerative power, helping athletes crush recovery without any downtime. So call Edge Peptide Therapy now at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Kale. Kale, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Zach. Hey, Blaine.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Hey, man, you're doing a great job. You guys with Cover 2 is awesome. I love it. I'm a 29-year-old season ticket holder. I watched Randy Moss catch a touchdown right in front of me with the Vikings.
Ooh. Yeah, me too. I had a bird's
at
eye view.
Vanderbilt Stadium, okay? No, I'm going way back. So what Fisher did as a coach is he developed a culture. He developed his players, and he had the ear of Bud Adams. But why I'm so upset is that as this franchise moves longer, we keep paying attention to what other teams are doing. How do they win some? Oh, yeah, let's just get the greatest players. We don't hold on to our players and try to build a culture. There is no culture in the NFL. It's always about what can you do now. Blaine, me and Trevor came over to the Titans thing, and saw the mock-up of the stadium, took a picture with you.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine, you're one of my heroes. You're one of the greatest Titans, man. You don't take you don't take bull crap, okay?
Good or bad.
What we don't have is we don't hold on to our leaders. We don't take a couple of years and figure out, we'll probably trade Jeffrey Simmons or do something stupid again. Let's take the 5 or 6 core guys on our team and build it. I'm going to send a resume to Amy Adams Strunk. I should be GM of this team. Watching all this heartache for the last few years, but, man, hold on to your players. Build them up. Figure out how to pay them. Titans going to have to pay. And then those guys that have the character and the culture of what the Titans are all about, let's make the Titans something. The Titans, man, let's make it something. Don't just trade them off and keep getting rid of them. And I could go off for 30 minutes on this subject, but I know I'm limited time based right now, but I'm telling you is that we have to build a culture. We don't have one. Jeff Fisher actually had the ear of all the players. He had the ear of Bud Adams. He had the ear of the people, and he built a Super Bowl team. And by a fraction of a margin, we would have won that Super Bowl, Blaine. We would have won that Super Bowl. And then we still were a good team years after that. But still, we don't do the necessary things to hold the core together. We have to hold the core together. And when we hold the core together, it's like family. And then people are going to want to say, hey, we're the new Kansas City Chiefs for the next 5 years. That's what we have to do. No more resumes, no egos, no nothing. Build it up. And I'm going to use old Butch Jones, brick by brick. We got to keep them. We got to keep stacking them. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Kel. I do. Did you spill some stuff on you?
Hey, this is my water.
Oh, man. We're going to have Mike in here to fix all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. I forgot water in here. No, I didn't get on nothing but right here on my lives.
Look at this.
Oh, there, bananas. Thanks for helping me out, man.
I do.
Those are going to do anything.
I do like
He's
what
the
Kel
reason why
said.
I spilled it. It was him over there putting his fist up.
I do like what Kel said about putting the egos aside. And I just don't think this team has been able to do that. I mean, I know they experienced temporary success, and what I mean by that is, sure, there was a lot of winning seasons under Mularkey and Mike Vrabel, but it was temporary. And they're trying to build sustained success, according to what they say. But to do that, you got to put the egos aside. And there's a lot of ego involved when you move a Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ego involved when you decide that you're not going to extend Roger McCreary because you didn't draft him. I'm not saying that's the reason, but that's the reason it seems, because why wouldn't you extend him? It's a lot because you can't trust Marcus Harris. I mean, give me a break.
Right. So who are the core players?
See, that's the thing. I mean, it's Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
Simmons. If you're talking non-tradable players, J.C. Latham, Peter Skoronski, that aren't under free agent contracts, right? So
we're
you're
talking
rookies.
all rookie player.
All rookie, and then you
Alec
get your rookie,
DK.
Alec DK, Gunnar Helm. That's fine, but to get to the sustained success, it's going to be years before you get to that.
Is Moore on there?
I mean, he is technically right now because, I mean, he's at least under contract for 2 years. But, like, I will say this. Dan Moore, I haven't had a lot of gripes, but he still has 1 or 2 plays a game. We're just like, does this dude even know what he's doing out there? But that's what it feels like right now because, I mean, you could cut Calvin Ridley after this year. You can cut L'Jarius Sneed after this year. You can cut Lloyd Cushenberry after this year. And 2 years ago, they were supposed to get us up over the hump. And since we signed them, I'm not saying it's their fault, but since we signed them, we haven't, none of them, the 3 of them, the big 3 free agents, one of them was a trade, but the 3 big players that acquired, none of them have lived up to the hype.
Nope.
Kevin Zeitler didn't live up to the hype.
Oh, no.
I mean, when you miss on those players, it's
I like
damning.
Andre Dillard still over him. I mean, not Andre Dillard. What was the guy? Dylan Radins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take, for a 1 year
I would
deal.
take Dylan Radins over Kevin Zeiler.
Yeah, this version of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wouldn't have said that before the year started, right? Like nobody would have thought
man.
that.
I didn't know who Zeiler was.
Right.
Did he make any Pro Bowls?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
I'll have to go
How
check.
long ago?
It would have been recent, I think,
It
because
wouldn't have been recent. No way. They would have kept him. They knew something we didn't know, Detroit.
because they ended up drafting his replacement. 1 Pro Bowl, and that was 2023 with Baltimore.
Oh, it's Baltimore.
Yeah. Because he only played 1 year at Detroit last year. I thought he played longer at Detroit.
Oh, man.
But yeah. I mean, it's
gotta man, now we gotta build. You gotta mix the youth with veteran signings with leadership, and then man, that's when it skyrockets.
Yeah.
I mean, man, and I think that can happen over an off season. It really can. It really can, especially with some of these young guys now who haven't experienced after this season. With the right moves, like if you get your pass rusher, you get your number 1 receiver, some elite off the chart, which that means you got to have a high pick. So you're probably going to be number 1 or number 2, and you trade it out, and then you get multiple first round and second round picks, and then boom. And then you sign a couple free agents that'll be immediate contributors with leadership. And then voila. And then Cam Ward looks a lot better in second year with first year outside of when we decide who's the head coach.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that.
Well, that could change a lot. The head coach could change a lot, but we have seen 615-737-1045 is the number. Coming up next, we'll talk about the young players and what a season like this can and can't do for a young player future. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found in Kentucky Downs at Circus Sports. All right. I keep unplugging my headphone. It's just driving me nuts. Okay. Let me scoot over in my chair, get a little bit closer to the headphones here. All right. So we were kind of talking about the young players, building blocks and all this stuff, and how maybe the Tennessee Titans hopefully eventually will be able to pull themselves out of it. But my question is, a losing season so far, as how this is kind of going. Cedric Gray said in the locker room, I believe after the game, said that this can kind of bring people closer together. You can learn a lot from a season like this. We'll stick together. We'll be stronger coming out the other side. Is that generally how to view it, you think?
I don't know. How do you? I mean, you don't have to play.
Yeah. I would think so, but we don't know the mental makeup of every young player. And I'm not saying anything. And listen, I know I'm 40 years old, and I guess technically I'm a millennial based on the year I was born in. But it doesn't really seem. I can't really say that the people that are 20 years younger than me have that same kind of mentality, because I would be feeling the same way as you.
Well, I mean, I've been on a horrible team. Naturally, I think we won 2 or 3 games right before we moved here, and man, that was horrific. I mean, you feel like this horrible. So what I would do is just take it off on another team. I would literally would, and I would play just pissed off because I don't want to be associated with anything about losing and being a loser.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I approached it. I would use any nugget to just motivate, but it does actually bring you closer together because only you believe in each other. So naturally, from media to everybody, fans, they just, hey, you suck, and we did. So I mean, ultimately, all you can do is control you and put some good film out there and say, hey, and see how I continue to grow as a player. And when you turn on tape, though, you better be happy about what you see, at least as far as effort. And I haven't seen none of that. Everybody's playing really hard.
I've heard a lot of people, and I don't mean to get back on
I know everybody's talking about the Snead, and they really, it's been like players, not the team.
I don't even see that with those players, because
I think they're misstating what's really happening. I think you could say at points in times they're using, it's just no different than, is Cam Ward footwork lazy, or is he just needs to be more polished and more consistent?
Yeah.
See, and that's why I think that, in the athletic world, it's just like, oh, he was lazy. That term isn't like he was out there loafing.
Yeah.
Is like in his technique of how he's supposed to play on these plays, there's times throughout the game that he'll relax and think it's not coming his way, and we can take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I view it. I don't, I can see how they could say lazy, but it comes across to the normal person who thinks, and here's the word lazy, or, they're starting off slow. I mean, they start off every game slow except for this last game.
Well, and
that was something that's going over the last 2 years, by the way, with Vrabel here.
Well, I was about to say I didn't want to get back on my J.C. Latham soapbox here.
Okay.
But there's a lot of people that have been questioning his effort. Yeah. And it's not, he's like, he needs to go into guard because he doesn't give the effort. And I'm like, I don't think that's what it is. I think you guys are, and more to your point, I think you guys are using the wrong term when they describe J.C. Latham. But effort, I mean, look at J.C. Latham's, where he's been and where he's come from. Effort has never been a concern with him. Yeah. And why are we saying after 2 games, coming back from hip injury, his first 2 full games this season?
But no. You know what sparked that? My man Mike Silver. And when he wrote that, and Jeff went after him. And and then they go watch the play.
They latch on to that.
And then they watch him play, and then they go, oh, yeah, that is true. See, that's why I said that should have never happened.
Yeah.
That whole process there, that's not a true statement. Some guy's trying to fight through injury, and then I go call him lazy, and he's not putting forth effort.
Putting forth effort is wild, because even Nick Holt said again.
Actually, I would think it's the total opposite.
Yeah.
He is given phenomenal effort because
Right.
he's trying to fight through an injury. Now, whether he's playing up to his level that he wants to, I'm sure he's upset too that he's not healthy enough to play to the level he wants to, and he may be able not to. Like his footwork is not as sharp, and it's guess what?
Yeah.
When you're injured, you start using the other leg because you know you have power there.
Yep.
See? So then that hence puts everything out of whack, and then you look somewhat like you a ding dong out there on some plays. I mean, it's going to happen. That's why I said this is why players now, especially now, they don't play when they're injured. See, most of these guys wouldn't be playing if they were J.C. Latham.
Yeah.
I don't care what position. If you had some hip or
What Nick
hamstring,
Holt said last week. He said
they
a lot
wouldn't
of
be
people
playing.
wouldn't even be
They
playing.
wouldn't even be playing. So I mean, so they can just go somewhere. He just gotta, hopefully, and if he feels like he's continually getting better, it's just gonna take time, and he hasn't made the injury any worse. I think he's gonna keep playing. I told you that's the toughest decision.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make is playing through an injury, and I'm talking about a groin injury, and can I really help the team or am I hurting the team? And that's a tough call. But when you think you can get it done, especially when you've had success in this league and you know you can play, you know you good.
Well, Nick Holt said yesterday, 'cause of course, last week we brought it up on the show, but last week he said that, not many people would be doing what he's doing. He's really, playing for the team and all this kind of stuff, and he's working his way.
He's fighting through
He
it.
wasn't healthy. He was fighting through it.
He's not going to be
Because
healthy
everybody
the rest of
said, well, he told us he was fine, so he must be fine.
What's
No.
he supposed to say?
Yeah. I mean, give me a break.
Oh, so he could tell the opponents,
Just your first year watching the NFL?
Right.
Like, that's what I want to say. Now, this week, yesterday, Nick Holt said J.C. Latham played better Sunday, but still is working his way back to the way he was playing back at training camp when he was healthy.
Oh, but he was phenomenal.
Said footwork was an issue on a couple of plays where he got beat. That's not effort to me.
Nah.
That's a guy battling through it. And so I just want to, again, reiterate, J.C. Latham should not be guard. He is your right tackle.
But just imagine this now. If he steps with his bad hip and he doesn't have the power and explosion, some people are going to take it and then just see the guy just run by him like, oh, he's not giving effort. There's no way that would have happened. What I tell you, once you're out there, nobody cares.
Nobody
that you're
cares.
Injured. Nobody cares that you're injured. That's it.
I also think it's interesting that everybody's like, well, he struggled with speed rushers on his college tape. And I would say, okay, there's a few reps, but he was also, 50 pounds heavier?
Right.
I mean, I think if we had healthy J.C. Latham at the weight and shape he's at now, we wouldn't be seeing that issue. But when you miss time, your technique doesn't get worked on every day. Like the reps that you need to maintain the level of play throughout a season, you missed about 4 or 5 weeks in the regular season, and you missed a few weeks in training camp. That matters. That matters so much. And I cannot believe
I
that
wonder if
people
this is a good
just
correlation. Like you're right-handed. They say you write with your right hand, and then you start writing, but you start having real issues. Well, let's say arthritis in your hand, and you're like, dang, I can't even write as good as I used to. What happened? You're injured.
Yep.
But you keep on writing because that's what your job entails, is that you got to write or type or whatever it may be, and you're not, you can't get the production as much typing in an hour that you used to.
Well,
this is the same thing in sports. People just act like it's totally different, except there's no fans.
Yeah, there's nobody watching me. So, like when I shattered my pinky a few years ago, it was on my dominant hand.
I shattered that finger right there. They had put 3 pins in there, and then they're like, "Oh,
I only had 2.
You had no interceptions." Yeah. I know because I was playing with a cast on my hand. How am I supposed to do that? I'm actually use it as a weapon. So it's just.
But I shattered my pinky. You know how long it took me to learn to type again using my pinky? Because I kept it out
of
constantly.
It was hurt. It was
yeah. And I still sometimes can't grab change and let it not slide out my hands. Like it happens. So I can only, but I don't, like you said, I don't have 60,000 people watching me type and then 70,000 people dissecting my play on film. And
I get it. It's hard not to. I get the fans' view because they don't care about any of that. You're out there. Let's go.
Well, and then look at it this way. Keith, YouTube has changed how they display the names, and it's really throwing me off. But Keith on the F&M Bank chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live says, remember Baker Mayfield got killed when he was playing through injury. Now look.
He did. Yeah, he did. And I thought that was horrible by the Browns. And
they sold him out.
Yeah, they did. That was bad. Yeah.
They're getting what they deserve right now.
Because he was trying to fight through the injury, and it was his non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
But that affects your throwing motion. There's no doubt about it. That's why I couldn't believe Will Levis was playing with that's the same injury I had. And I'm not a quarterback, and it wasn't my throwing arm either.
You're right.
Man, that's horrible. So, yeah, it's a tough call.
Like it's like the people who call out sick because they got upset tummy or a flu.
Yeah, Lucas.
I think what we need to start doing is
we don't know if he was really sick.
We need to start blogging about those people and putting out Twitters that they're not putting forth the effort.
See?
That's what we should start doing.
That would sound insane, but that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
I hate it because I know he's a good player.
And I know people think that J.C. Latham and this offensive line did not play very well on Sunday. There's some misconception about that. But when you go watch the tape, listen, the plays they missed on were bad. Dan Moore missed on one. Kevin Zeitler, I'm excluding Kevin Zeitler from what I'm saying, by the way, because Kevin Zeitler played terrible.
He is. Remember, I said he was not good from day one in preseason.
Yeah, and we heard, yes.
Like, what are y'all talking about? I mean, like, this guy, he's just, no.
Well, remember when I kept up with, who's winning the one-on-ones and everything? I'm like, Zeitler's losing a lot. He's getting pushed back. And I was not expecting that. And so I just want to say, J.C. Latham, Dan Moore, Lloyd Cushbear, Peter Skronsky held the fort down pretty well against some big, meaty men up front and Harold Landry. And I don't really remember who was playing across from Harold Landry. Chason. Because Chason ended up getting the best of Zeitler on all those plays. But for the most part, they held up pretty well. They didn't allow a lot of pressures.
Right, but you're going to miss a guy on a play. Nobody's a perfect player.
Yeah.
I mean, so if he missed and gave up a sack, but all the other plays, he was pretty decent.
They don't care about the other plays. Yeah, and remember, they only ran it 11 times or 12 times, so that means that he got a lot of exposure. There's a lot of J.C. Latham tape from this game, a lot of Dan Moore tape, all offensive line tape in pass protection because they passed like crazy this game. And also for those that keep saying, let Cam cook. I don't know if you're watching the game, but they're letting him throw the ball. They are not a run-first team. So you can't even use that and say that they're not giving Cam the opportunity to make plays. So to me, I look at it and I go, guys, we can't. I know that there is this thing where we have to have these instant reactions, but you are allowed to change your opinion over the course of 24 hours when more information is presented to you. No, don't keep latching on to the stuff that you thought and you felt in the game, because there were times where I was getting texts and everybody's like, well, Cam stinks. And then you go back and watch the film. Cam was pretty good. I mean, he wasn't great. He's not franchise number one yet, but he was a lot better than what people think.
Bad plays, fumble one, he did. But outside of that, so we're not saying he played incredible, but like throughout watching the game, at least especially that first half or first quarter and a half, you like, man, this thing looks good. This is how it's supposed to look.
Yep.
He was making some tight window throws. I think all I think about every time he makes a tight window throw, we watch it on Twitter, all I think about, I hear Dan Orlovsky in my ear. It's like, oh, my God.
All right. Coming up next, Eddie George talked to the Tennessean about some recent changes and firings of Amy Adams Strunk in this Tennessee Titans franchise. We'll let you know what he had to say. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. So back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself with a 1-car garage in downtown Franklin. And a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below dealer pricing. Fast forward to today, and that barn's long gone, and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations in Tennessee. Naturally in Franklin, Belmead, Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet, with more to come. All work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. So go ahead and ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? Are we committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how we treat you. So go book now, right now, today, or go online and check us out at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Stores. 615-737-1045 is the number. And over at the Tennessean, Mike Oregon wrote an article that says Eddie George weighs in on Titans' downfall, evaluates Bowling Green's season, and Pudge the Cat.
Pudge the Cat.
Pudge the Cat is and I knew that one would pique your interest here, but apparently Eddie is allergic to Pudge the Cat, and that is Bowling Green's, I guess, like mascot or whatever. Is live mascot is Pudge the Cat. Here, I'll show you a picture.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen this cat?
But no, I've never seen that cat.
But apparently Eddie George is allergic to it.
I played Bowling Green 4 years in a row.
So we got Pudge the Cat here.
Was Urban Meyer the coach at, or Nick? Somebody was a big time coach at.
I think it was Urban Meyer, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but Eddie George says the Titans have set themselves back 10 years.
He said a decade?
A decade.
Oh, wow.
Here's the exact quotes, and this is we'll go one by one here. I'm sad to see Brian Callahan get fired, George said. Being in this profession, I know how hard it is to win and try to build something. I don't know if he was given the proper time to do that. It's a results business, and they didn't think it was the right fit. I want to stop there because it's not really about Eddie's comment, but he has something in here that I've heard a few people kind of echo. Not a lot, because everybody kind of thought that, Brian Callahan probably should have been fired. But do you think he was given the proper time? We never really talked about, because I think we both just assumed that he was going to get fired. But do you think he was given enough time to build something? He had all last season, this offseason to reflect and start building and put a plan in. Do you think he had enough time?
I think from my perspective, what I've been saying the whole time is I just didn't like his philosophy on how he ran this system. So
Yeah.
I didn't like that. So with that being said, I thought he was given plenty enough time. I thought he needed players, the best players to play in the system. Like if you are the Bengals, they run that system. Well, they have two elite receivers.
Yeah.
Well, we probably will never have that. But we can have some really good players, and it won't look the same. See, now they got Flacco who can sling it around the yard and, throw deep. A little different. It looks different than with Browning out there. So I felt like we were never going to get the pieces, and it wasn't going to be a perfect fit. So, no, I thought he had plenty of time.
I'm with
and
you.
And then with the coaching, managing the game, because that really sets you apart from other coaches. He failed at that, even going into this year. So I thought they gave him fair enough time. Yeah.
Maybe this is the way to kind of phrase it. Eric Reed in the F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live says, not enough time, but also no true proof of concept.
Yeah,
so maybe if he had a proof of concept that we could all buy into and see, a vision, a culture, an identity of something, because it's hard to say that you're building something when nobody can explain what you're building. And so maybe if he was going to be this, just as an example, if he was going to say we are going to be a run-first defensive team, and he leaned into that, then maybe you give that guy time because he has clear vision. But it seemed to me that there was just no true vision that we, on the outside looking in, can really grasp onto. Because how many times did we ask, what is the identity of this team?
Yeah.
What are they trying to build? So to me, it's just like maybe he didn't give enough time, but I think he had enough time to actually come up with that stuff. And I don't know if he ever did. And so I have to go back and say, you went through so much your first season and you come out your second season and nothing really changes except for you got worse. That to me kind of tells me you got enough time.
Yeah, it was.
He goes on to say, George fears Titans have put themselves in a hole that continues to get bigger with each firing. He believes that the two, Mike Vrabel firing Mike Vrabel as coach and firing Brian Callahan as coach and two general managers over the last 4 years, he believes this has set the franchise back at least a decade and maybe more. He goes on to say, what is the culture in the building? I can speak to that because I know what it was like when I was there. We had a blueprint. We had an identity. What do you want to be that's sustainable? I think that's a question for the owner, Amy, the GM, and the president. And then they have to find a coach that can be on the same page with them. How are you going to build this out? How much time are you going to give this person? Because it's not going to happen overnight. And I agree. I think he was spot on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. I feel good about when I said he should be, in the backdrop of outside the box hire.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of thinking he goes out there and says this, and maybe he's saying all this while it's all true.
Yeah.
I agree.
At least from his
But maybe he's saying this, so when he has the interview, he could say, I can save you. I know exactly what you need. Here's what you need. I think he's kind of playing a smart game, allegedly. My little conspiracy theory.
He's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
That's sure of that.
It wasn't anything really anything damning.
Crazy. Yeah, no.
Because this is all what we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can get behind at least
he's
a
never
decade
going to say
maybe
anything
more.
great just because he's just a class act guy, but he can get the message across how he wants to and deliver it and did it in a respectful way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this was respectful because I think this is all true. What is the culture in the building? What do you want to be that's sustainable? Because they talked about we want to build for sustained success, but what is that? What is the path that you are taking to get there?
But this is another reason why I think Callahan wasn't ready because of, I don't know what he sold them outside of all the other things with these quarterbacks. But I'm talking about as far as coaching staff, he went new all around him.
Yep.
If I became the head coach, I would never have done that, being that I am new. Not just new as the head coach, but I'm also new. So I needed some people around me who have done it, been there, had success.
Guys
so
you can trust.
But I wanted to have some guys with experience.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. There's no way around it.
Like get you an experienced defensive coordinator because now you can say, I trust you. You are the head coach of the defense.
Then you
I
let
trust
him go
you.
do his thing because he's been successful in this league being a DC.
And he let Denard Wilson do his thing without oversight for the first year, according to what Brian Callahan, because he said he was going to be more involved in the defense and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, was he ready to kind of be the CEO, the president, the head coach of the defense? Like, I know they built a pretty for the most
special
part,
teams too, as he came and fired his friend.
And I know that they built a pretty experienced support staff. As far as you have Tyke Tolbert, Randy Jordan, your dad Bill Callahan, right? Like you have those three guys, and then on defense you have Frank Bush, you have Tracy Rocker. Those guys all have experience. But the head guy needs to have the experience.
Yeah, because you're talking about game planning.
Right.
In the National Football League, who's been there, done that, and understand what works and what doesn't. So I think that was the first mistake. I was like, I don't know if I would have done that. I would have hired all experience as far as special team. I want people to know that at least if I'm lapsing on my end as the play caller, because that's what he was, then I got help around me. And then I can lean into them and ask them, so when I put this in, what do you think? Especially the guys on defense when you're running on offense. And that's why, guess what? Our defense always looked so good against them in practice. Yep. And I said, it's not posted because this defense isn't elite. And it looked like that. So those are all tea leaves telling me that no can do. So they gave him plenty of time.
I mean, when you go back and think
clear,
about everything that we saw in training camp, we warned people because everybody's like, oh, this defense, they're getting all these tipped passes and all this and that. And we're like, guys, this defense is not that good.
No, the defense is average at best. I was trying to still give them at best. Average at best.
Now, there have been games this year where they have played above and beyond their capabilities.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no doubt about that.
That's a tribute to the coaching staff to get more out of them. And then eventually they came, and we saw what happened last week.
But this has kind of been the theme of the Tennessee Titans for the last 4 years, right? I mean, the last 4 years, the defense looks really good in training camp, and then everybody's surprised that the offense hasn't looked good.
Yeah. And also, the defense eventually probably, when was they play Washington?
Then
after that, they were not the same. They were not the same. And so they eventually ran out of gas, whether it was for game planning, injuries, or what have you. It was probably a combination of all those things, and they didn't look the same. Nope.
But I think the what is the culture in the building is such a big thing. And it feels like to me, like my perception since the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. trade, and I brought this up on our show, was that day was it feels like the coaches are not in charge of the culture anymore. It feels like the GM or Chad Brinker, one of those two, maybe both, are trying to build their vision, their culture, and are trying to find pieces that fit within their culture, when I feel like maybe the coaches are the guy, like the coach that they hire is going to fit their vision. They're not going to fit around the coach's vision. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
That's why I'm worried that they won't get an experienced coach.
Right.
Because he's going to go want to do it his way.
You got to put the egos aside, right? John Robinson did not put his ego aside. He lost his job. Mike Vrabel did not put his ego aside. He lost his job. Rand Carthon, totally different story. but Chad Brinker's ego got him boosted up above Rand Carthon after a year. And then Brian Callahan's ego that his system is going to work no matter what, his plays over players eventually got him fired. And so at some point, someone's going to have to put the egos aside and understand that, hey, you look at the Chiefs. Like everybody says they want to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs at one point had John Dorsey, their current GM, Brett Veach, Chris Ballard, Mike Bergonzi, a bunch of guys.
Andy Reid,
but a bunch of guys in that front office, right?
Yeah, that's some dudes.
A bunch of executives in that front office that have all gone on to be GMs elsewhere, but they maintain success. When was the last time that we've heard about ego from the Kansas City Chiefs, including Andy Reid? You don't.
Oh, no, he didn't have one. No.
And so to me, you got to put the egos aside, like Kel said when he called in at the first or the last of the hour in the 1 o'clock hour. You got to put the egos aside. I don't know if this team's going to do that, because if you are wanting to take over and build your culture from your front office, I don't know if that's the way to go about it. And listen, I don't know how every other team has done it in the history of the NFL. But it feels like the coaches and the players should be responsible for the culture, not the front office. They should be finding the players to fit their culture, their ideas of what they want to do.
And they should be leaning into that with the GM and say, hey, we're going to try to get those kind of players for you. Whether, sometimes you disagree on a player or not, you kind of say, which one do you like, coach?
Yeah.
And then, hey, I give you this one. Guess what? The next one, I'm going to pick that one. Or the next pick or player in free agency. So that's how you work hand in hand. That's called collaborating.
Yeah.
Nobody is, running the show.
They use that buzzword all the time, but when have they actually done it?
Yeah, they do that.
They do a form of collaboration where it's self-serving collaboration, where I'll collaborate as long as it works for me, and if it doesn't work for me,
I'm a point of favorite too.
Veto is basically what it is. That's what it feels like that they have built over there, and I'm hoping that I am proven wrong. But right now, we can only go off the evidence that's in front of us, and the evidence in front of us says there is no collaboration. Does it look like Mike Bergonzi the night of that they had to do that press conference that he wanted to fire Brian Callahan?
I don't think so.
I mean, he might probably because he's like,
I don't know if Brinker didn't either. Maybe not.
Maybe not, but I don't know. But you could definitely say Bergonzi didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to be there. That's what that looked like to me. He didn't want to be there.
But I mean, to the point, I guess Monkey Balls 262 on YouTube, F&M Bank Chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. This organization has had power struggles internally since Mike Mularkey was fired. That's what Monkey Balls says. 615-737-1045 is the number. Coming up next, we'll get to your phone calls. We'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Monkey Balls. Let's talk insurance, and that's King and Associates Insurance. They're independent agents, and that's a big difference. But it goes beyond just having multiple companies to shop, weeding out the non-competitive companies, keeping great relationships with the biggest and best, along with bundling. But unfortunately, life happens, and they get it. So here's a true story about my friend and his coworker that switched from a previous independent agent and got better coverage on his home and its contents and even his automobiles with flawless communication and a true champion in his corner after his 16-year-old daughter's accident and saved them thousands of dollars and thousands from an independent agent who was overcharging him for years. So you can make the switch and save the same, if not more. But don't make the switch because he did. Switch because you should. As a business, family, or an individual, make the switch to King and Associates Insurance. Because I'm sure you can do for some extra moolah, money, by the way, in your pocket. So if you want to save some money, give them a call. 615-321-8121. That's 321-8121 or tkinginsurance.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We got people blaming Nick Holtz for all this mess.
That's what took you on the chat, man. I wanted to know what monkey balls were.
Well, I mean, that's just his name. His name is Monkey Balls 262.
Maybe that was Nick Holtz. He was Monkey Balls.
Maybe Nick Holtz is Monkey Balls. Monkey Balls 262.
What do you think that means?
I don't know.
He said that was his nickname in high school.
Well, that was another guy saying Monkey Balls was his nickname in high school. And we got a request for Ross in the chat.
To explain monkey balls.
Well, someone wants you just to say Monkey Balls.
Monkey balls.
There you go.
He got
that's for the chat.
Monkey balls.
There you go. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Tommy in Nashville. Tommy, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
If y'all were told that y'all might only be on the radio for a year and 4 months, you definitely wouldn't take the job.
Yeah.
You know who I think is coming out looking a lot better? And that's Will Levis. Because it just shows that if you're on a bad team, you may not play that good. And the evidence of that is 10 times from the Giants to the Colts. He took the Giants to the playoffs. Then their offensive line went away. And I never thought the guy got worse. I thought he just didn't have an offensive line. And look at him now. He didn't just get better overnight. His team got better. And when we talked about, before the preseason, we talked about our offensive line was going to be so much better. I know that night we played the Falcons, they had their second string defense in, and our first string was going to play the first 3 series. So I'm not into watching preseason games, but I watched the first 3 series against the second string Falcons defense, and Cam was running for his life.
Yeah, we were looking like monkey balls.
And nobody said anything about how bad the offensive line was playing that night.
Oh,
so,
I did. I was there. I saw it.
Okay, so maybe I didn't hear it. But anyway, those are just my comments. Thanks for listening to me. Bye.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, I got real nervous after that game because they were playing second and third strings against our number one.
Yep.
And we couldn't even move the ball.
Nope. It was something. Let's go to Roy in Franklin. Roy, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Yeah, I just got a question that and it doesn't really matter if it's a football team or anything to me. You know, when you work and you have to work together with people, you know, you check the egos or however you want to say it, but ultimately whoever's in charge, if, you know, somebody's trying to cover themselves, you know, that could be the problem. I mean, because, you know, how many times have we fired people? I mean, firing. Who's doing that? And then why are we, I mean, we all should be pulling the same way, but it seems like it's every man for themselves whenever this stuff happens. So, however that's going on, in my opinion, I mean, that seems like it's not a good climate for success if people are just worried about what the head person thinks and they're undermining other people looking for somebody to blame.
There you have it.
I'll just hang up and listen.
I mean, it is very Game of Thrones-esque up there. Remember when they said, he brought something up when he said rowing together. Remember when they said that they were going to go hunting together? Like, remember in the press conference, that was the philosophy. That was Rain Carthon. I can't remember if he said that with Mike Vrabel when he got hired.
Yeah, I think so.
Or if it was Brian Callahan. But they were going to go hunting together. Like, they were going to build the roster together. Whatever happened to that, you think?
Yeah, well, what happened was they started hunting together, and one guy went the other way, the other guy went the other way.
Yeah.
Then what happened was he ended up shooting the other guy.
Someone got Dick Cheney. Someone got Dick Cheney'd out there. All right. Let's go to probably someone got shot in the butt with buckshot and they're having to pick it all out. Let's go to Bill in Gallatin.
That's probably what happened.
Bill, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Thank you. First of all, I'll say something about your man Ross there. He sounds like Jeff Darlington when he speaks on the radio, the guy from ESPN.
Yeah, he got those pipes, man.
A lot of people say he sounds like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead, but I think Jeff Darlington's better.
Yeah,
got those pipes, man.
Anyway,
He's
I
a
wanted
singer.
to bring up an article that appeared in The Athletic. It was written by Rustin Dodd, and it dealt with the Kansas City Chiefs and the absolute mess they were in when they hired Andy Reid and what it took to turn that organization around. People forget that the Chiefs of today were not the Chiefs of 2012. And so it's worth a read. His name is Rustin Dodd, and it was in The Athletic. That's all I got.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, like, it took a lot to get them out of there, but it took a bunch of people to put egos aside, a lot of experience, right? And maybe, I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is Eagles Andy Reid or anything, but maybe Mike McCarthy, with his bevy of experience, can help pull this out and put it the right way. Again, I'm not sure if he's my number one pick, but when you're talking about these head coaching candidates, this is when Eddie George says the team has already been set back 10 years in that article. This is the decision to me that could set the team back 10 years.
Yeah,
if you do not get this hire right, this sets back the decision or the team for 10 years.
That are middling you. It's, put you in the middle of the field here with the other teams. If it doesn't, then that was bad.
Yeah,
and it will hurt. It will
hurt. You won't be able to recover because you're wasting. Okay, so Cam Ward will be entering his second year. If you don't make the right coach and he doesn't develop and they don't hit it off, then you've also wasted a head coach. And you're going to be back in the quarterback carousel eventually.
You just made me think of something with your McDaniel and Saleh.
Yeah.
One of McDaniels has a good year with Cam 1 year, and then he off the head coach job.
Well, that's why you also bring back Bobby Slowick with it, and then Bobby Slowick can take over, and we have continuity.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And then he get wiped out again.
Yeah.
I don't know. His butt gets tight. It's a critical situation.
You never know. But, I mean, that's why maybe you go with an experienced offensive head coach.
I just don't
and
know.
don't pivot all the way to defensive. I don't know, but all I know is this now.
No, I like that, but I'm talking about I just don't know of the person that wants to come to this and then not have control.
Yeah. Again, got to put those egos aside. And the power.
Control.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying come in and, I'm going to do it my way. No.
Right.
I mean, like, let's all work it. I just don't know if that can happen.
Brinker and Bergonzi, they have to put their egos aside and be willing to work with whoever they bring. That's
how we had success with Florida Reese and Jeff Fisher.
That's how you had success at the beginning with John Robinson and Mike Mularkey and John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. That's how you had success there. It just trailed off. You got to find guys that can build sustained success and improve and change and grow as the years go on, not grow in different directions.
Well, that's why you need to hire them and align them together because they will be aligned and they will be, even if they disagree, because everybody's going to disagree.
I agree.
They're still going to go down the same road.
I think Borgonzi would be willing to have collaboration with a head coach. I don't know about the other people. I don't think the other people would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the issue. Is that he's not the guy. Right now, Brinker is the guy. Burke Nihill's the co-guy. And then you have Amy Adams Strunk. I don't know. All right, Kevin, real quick, bring us home.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good.
Okay, hey, how's it going? You all kind of hit it on the head. To me, the biggest thing is continuity. I don't care how good a coach is. If you can't, if you can only hang around 2 years, you can't gel with each other as a staff. You can't gel with the players. You can't do it in 2 years. It's going to take time. And I agree with what Eddie George said. You got to find out what kind of team you want to be and how much time are you going to allow without the outside noise to get it done and stick to it.
Gotcha.
I think that's true. I mean, the blueprint, right? Who's putting the blueprint together, and is it going to work? Because right now, we don't know. We spent the top of the show after we were talking to Ryan Shumpert, talking about we don't understand any of the moves that they're making. We have no clue where their directions they're going. And these are the two guys that right now are going to have the decision on the next head coach. These are guys right now are the guys in charge of the blueprint right now. And I have no clue what the hell they're building. I mean, that's where I'm at. And so I know that everybody's kind of like, well, it's Brinker now because, Callahan is gone. Well, now it's Brinker. And everybody's kind of giving the benefit of the doubt to Borgonzi, but Borgonzi doesn't seem like he has any power right now.
It was never Callahan either.
Maybe not, but it just never seems like it was. I just don't know. I can't give credit to or give confidence in Borgonzi and Brinker right now. I know some people want to say, well, got to have faith, got to have hope. I'm at an all-time low in that department.
Well, I'm
running on empty.
But that's all you got to hang on, really.
Right. That's it. We don't have evidence.
Eventually, everything that goes down must come up.
At some point.
If not, we all are monkey balls.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean,
Time to go.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions eventually came up. It just took about 20 years for them to get to where they're at right now. So maybe we're in that. You hope we're not. All right, that will do it for us. 3HL's up next.
Monkey balls.
This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime,
in between time,
peace.
NBA. Wow.
Yeah, we didn't even